Hey, Baby Maven community. I just wanted to jump in today and talk to you a little bit about schedules and answer some of the common questions that pop up when we are talking about getting baby into a routine. So, the very first one that a lot of people ask me is it mean to put baby on a schedule, like to kind of force them into a certain type of routine? Absolutely not a problem at all to put baby on a schedule. It's actually kind of necessary. For one, babies love predictability. And then for another, it's going to make sure that you have some time during the day that you can count on that's just for you. And schedules allow you to make sure that you are meeting baby's needs, making sure that he is fed and that he is getting those diaper changes that he needs and plenty of sleep very consistently. And the more consistently that his needs are met, the happier that he's going to be. So ultimately, this is like a total win-win for everybody. If it helps, you can think of your baby like a little adult. You probably like it better when you kind of have a heads up of things that are expected of you. And maybe that's having like a set bedtime for yourself every single night, or just knowing that you're going to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner within like these certain windows every single day. Babies really like that too. They are just tiny little people. So it's perfectly awesome and wonderful and kind of necessary to get baby on a schedule. It is in no way, shape, or form mean. On to the next question. My baby hates the schedule. Now what? The first thing I would say to you is make sure that you're actually being consistent and that you're trying out this schedule for at least a couple of days. I know that when you're trying to get baby on a routine, it can feel like, one day of trying to get a good nap routine can feel like it's like 3 weeks of just craziness. But before you give up on it, or before you decide the baby hates the schedule, give it like a really good try. Because it might just be that this is the transition phase and that baby doesn't actually hate the schedule. He's just kind of like, oh, hey, mom, what's going on right now? Give it a really good try. Then, if needed, readjust. It's totally fine. Every single baby is different. They are all just tiny little people. So if you feel like this is really not working after a couple of days, try adjusting it a little bit. Maybe that's putting baby down for a nap 15 minutes earlier, or allowing him to eat sooner, or changing bedtime, whatever it would be. Just make a slight change and then stick with that for 2 or 3 days, see how that fits, and then adjust again. And I would also say that if you think that the baby hates the schedule, take a really good look at yourself and see if it's actually you that hates the schedule. If you're not feeling good about it, then your confidence is like in the pooper, and so is your consistency. So if you're not liking the schedule, readjust it right now, because there is no reason to put yourself through like that craziness of trying to get baby on a schedule that you yourself don't like. That's just no good. Okay, next question. How do I get my baby on a schedule fast? This is such a good one. And you might be surprised to hear that like you actually can get baby on a really good schedule in less than a week. It just comes down to consistency and paying really close attention to what your baby is putting out there. So consistency is extremely key to this process, because baby's going to catch on a lot faster if it's like every single sleep time you're doing something specific that's like, oh, hey, all right, so I know that since I'm being swaddled and it's a dark room and mom's shushing me, it's time to sleep. And all of those things that I just said are actually sleep triggers. So part of creating a really good schedule is also making sure that you have kind of a good routine leading into the schedule for eating and for sleeping and even for playtime. If you start using triggers like playtime is always in a well-lit room and you play some music or you sing songs or you read books, things that are really very engaging and kind of bring the vibe up, baby's going to recognize like, oh, okay, right now is the time to be awake. We're going to hang out. We're going to have fun. If all of the feeds are kind of in just a chill environment, it's just the two of you guys, maybe you diffuse some oils, or maybe you talk about a certain thing with your baby, or you listen to a meditation together or something like that, that will become a trigger for eating. And then you definitely want to make sure you have some triggers for sleep, like a sleep sack or swaddling, like a dimly lit room or a perfectly dark room. Blackout shades are like the best thing ever. And just making sure that you're being very, very consistent with all those things. The sooner that baby catches on to those, the faster he's going to be like, all right, I totally get this schedule, mom. I know what to expect, and I'm on board. Another thing to keep in mind with getting baby on a schedule fast is whatever you do put into place, make it super, super simple, because you want to make sure that you can follow it and that you're happy following it every single day, that your husband, your partner, your in-laws, the babysitter, that everybody who's going to be interacting with baby is able to just jump right on board and do this schedule. Because, if it's some like crazy song and dance to try to get baby down every single time, you're going to spend a whole heck of a lot of your day doing that song and dance, trying to get baby down. And chances are your mother-in-law is not going to do it the same as you. And so baby might be a little bit confused by it. That goes along with the idea of make sure you don't set habits that you don't want to keep. Like if you always breastfeed baby until he falls asleep and then put him down to sleep, that you're going to be kicking yourself in a couple of weeks, couple months, because that's going to be a really tough thing to keep up all the time. All right, I'm just checking to see if there's anything else on my notes. Until you find the magic window, because when we talk about schedules, we always wind up talking about sleep. We always wind up talking about eating. Until you find that magic window to put baby down, always try putting him down earlier than you would expect. Because to try to find that magic window, you kind of have to start on like the shorter awake time and maybe try after 45 minutes to put him down for a nap. And if it really doesn't take, let him hang out for another 10 minutes and then try again, because you don't want to miss that magic window when you're trying to create a schedule. Because if you do, you're going to have an overtired kid and then the nap is totally shot. One last thing for getting baby on a schedule fast, you want to pay really close attention to the signals that baby is giving off. Also, the timer. And then lastly, you want to keep really, really in tune with how you're feeling, like what your gut is telling you. Because believe it or not, your gut is probably going to be right like 90% of the time when it comes to what your baby needs. So even if he's only been awake for 40 minutes and you're really feeling like, you know what, I just think he's tired, try putting him down for a nap right then. Start paying really close attention to how baby looks when he's tired. I actually recently had a client tell me that their son's like eyebrows get red when he starts getting tired. Like that is the coolest sign to know the baby is tired. And because of it, they have found that magic window and they are nailing the naps these days, which is just, it makes me so happy when I think of things like that. And when my clients give me feedback of like, I found out that his eyebrows get red and that's why he's tired. So keep a really close eye on your baby's signs and signals, and then also just keep an eye on the clock. Because so much of the time, you're having a great time hanging out with your kiddo, and all of a sudden you realize that like, oh wow, he's been awake for 2 hours. Well, guess what? There's a really good chance that you're in that overtired phase at this point. So keep an eye on the clock. Pay attention to what your baby is putting out there for you, whether it's red eyebrows or little eye rubbing, or he's just looking really zoned out. And then also keep an eye on that clock, okay? I hope that you found these tips really helpful. If you have any other questions that relate to scheduling or routines or just babies in general or pregnancy, feel free to hit me up in the Facebook group, tag me, and I will make sure to answer. All right? Hope you have a great day.